Good morning. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Something I've been a little low on lately. Been having a fair amount of what I would refer to as density or oppressive emotional stuff, and most of it is like old patterns, old behavior. Thoughts about old behavior, not acting out necessarily in old behavior, but processing old behavior. Why did I do that? Why did I engage in those patterns? And going back to source. But that, I digress. It's very early. It looks like the sun is coming up on the screen, but it's still quite dark. Anyway, oops, I'm driving, so, more to the point, why did I press the record button? It'll be interesting to see if this video posts, because the last 3 videos that I've done, I was flagged for content, and they didn't post them on YouTube. It's a very quick message that pops up, like I went back in to check to see if the video had posted or had downloaded or uploaded or whatever they call that, and it was a very quick flash on the screen, maybe 5 seconds, and it was, and I can't remember the exact wording, but something about it like being flagged for content, and which is interesting because maybe I talk about some things that are edgy. Like for example, the last video that I did, I made reference to abuse. Abuse that we endure when we're young, and it sets a program in us of less than. I'd be interested. I just use the word abuse, and I wonder if I'll get flagged for content. However, so last November, I had an experience. It's what I call my experience. It was leading up to that. Probably, I'm going to say, it was over the course of time, but in the year leading up to last November, I had an experience that culminated or peaked out in November that I would describe or closely describe as what one might perceive as a midlife crisis. Okay? What's it all for? What's the meaning of life? What is life? You work, you eat, you sleep, you work, you eat, you sleep, and all for what? All for what? Some grand, I'm going to live better than the guy down the street. I'm going to have more stuff, travel more, do more, have more. My grass is greener. What am I breaking my back for and gnarling my hands for? Why am I doing these things? And so initially, it presented much the way someone might perceive as a midlife crisis. And my behaviors followed suit with that. I bought, I bought a quote-unquote sports car convertible. I still have it. It's actually a very good car. I had, over the last several years, I had a relationship with a much younger woman. Going out and doing things, the nightlife kind of, mentality, so, but all of that stuff was void. It was void and empty. It had no purpose or meaning to me. It really, yes, I like my car. Yes, I like traveling. Yes, there's a certain aspect of going out that I enjoy, but these were not the things that genuinely brought me any sort of lasting contentment or happiness or peace. And then around in November, I can't remember the date, it's irrelevant, but I had what I call my experience, and all this midlife crisis stuff kind of peaked in November, where I had an experience where I was taking a shower and getting ready for my day, and in a moment of clarity, I had this moment of clarity, had an epiphany, self-awareness. What am I? Who am I? What is my purpose? What is, you spend enough time, or you ask the right question, you will get an answer. You'll get the answer you're looking for. And I got my answer. I got my answer about who am I really, and, I got the answer, but I didn't fully understand it. Okay, that's the answer. That's my purpose. But how is that going to manifest? How is that going to unfold? And how am I going to incorporate this idea into my day-to-day practical life, It was a very, very confusing time for me, and I would liken it to, kind of like a nervous breakdown. There was great elation about feeling some sense of genuine purpose and direction in my life, but there was also depression, and feelings of being overwhelmed and anxiety about how is this going to play out in my life, I did reach out to certain people. I did reach out. However, they were, shall we say, less than interested. They were less than interested in my questions. They were less than interested in my perspectives. And it's funny because the things, coming now almost a year later, I'm gaining some understanding of their position. However, I'm not sure why they wouldn't engage with me. In any case, you're guided by your own intuition, and I'm sure they were guided by their own. Anyway, this is not about pointing fingers, because anytime you point fingers, you see my hand, anytime you point fingers at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. It's about self-awareness. Who am I? And fast forward a bit, so I'm like freaking out. I'm having some really amazing experiences and greater self-awareness, and but I was lost, man. I was foundering. Or at least it felt that way. But I remember, like, I need help. I need help to understand this. I need clarity. On my own, I'm gonna murk this all up, And sure enough, what came along, you, again, going back to, you ask a question or you make a petition enough, your answer will come. And that answer, the guidance that I was seeking, the direction that I was seeking, the clarity. I happened to be scrolling through YouTube and doing research, as it were, and somebody popped up. If you watch this, you might be interested in this. And it was a woman by the name of MJ Robertson, and the title of the video, I wish I could remember the title of the video exactly, because it was profound, because it really, I really identified with and resonated with the content, and it was like what to expect. You know that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. Spiritual, like what to expect during spiritual awakening and shifting. And it's one of her earlier videos. She has a bunch, probably hundreds, and but it was profound, and I totally resonated with what she was talking about, and the experiences and the feelings and the sensations, the emotions, the intuition, and so I watched another video, and that one led to another and another and another, and I was like, whoa, dude. Whoa, here's somebody who's, almost 20 years your junior, who's describing your life path, and all the, from very young childhood to adulthood. And here she is, 20 years your junior, but, expressing vividly detailed experiences that you've had over the course of your life, and this peak moment where you had this like download of clarity about what what is life, and as I continued to watch, I found out she has she wrote a book. She offers services, life coaching, a variety of services. And yoga teacher, nutritionist, intuitively guided life coaching. So I booked a session. I wouldn't necessarily do this way again, and even she kind of came to a different, like maybe read the book first and then book coaching sessions, and I would tend to agree with that. But now, 3 times, I've read the book 3 times now. Anyway, I started the coaching sessions, and they were very productive. However, I had not yet fully read the book. I did order the book, and it was a very reasonable price. I did find it useful to order the hard copy book, and then shortly thereafter, my eyes are getting bad. So I wear cheaters now, and I found it very useful to order the Audible, and I think that was like $6 or $7 American. The book was very reasonably priced. I ordered it from her directly. You can go on, I believe it's Amazon, and you can get it for, whatever, and yeah, they ship it right to you, but me personally, I had an issue ordering directly from Amazon, and I don't like Amazon. I do use it, but I try not to, and I would rather pay extra money and see the money go in her pocket. So I ordered the book directly from her, paid for postage, paid the extra amount for her time to mail off the book and the post, the postage on it. I would highly recommend that, at least the book or audio, whatever media you're more comfortable with. And I began to incorporate the suggestions that were made in the book. And in very short order, in very short time, I began to notice that these insights that I had prior to any of this throughout the course of my life were suddenly making sense, and there was definitely intensely valid, useful information and suggestions in the book. I'm pulling in, and we have a lot of turkeys at work, wild turkeys that just roam around. And one just landed in front of my car. Ah! Yes, turkeys fly. Not very well, not very gracefully, but yes, they do fly. So, back to the point. Utilizing the suggestions, incorporating the suggestions, and it was very clarifying. So I guess the point, when I pressed the record button, the process that I was trying to get across, or the point I was trying to make, is that, you know, if you're in a position where, you know, like, you know, what is life? You know, what the hell am I doing? You know, I'm working for what? For retirement. So blah 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 blah, you know, all these things, you know. We are not employees. We are not taxpayers. We are not, you know, there is something well beyond this existence that's been forced on us, you know. Be a good little slave. Don't rock the boat. You know, eat, work, sleep. Maybe you'll retire. Maybe you'll, you know, and dangling carrots of, you know, you're going to be successful. You know, what is success, you know? Long story short, if you really want to know who you are, and this book and this process is not for wimps, as it were. There is some genuinely difficult, emotionally challenging work that if you are prepared to take that step in your life, that you want something, that you're guided towards something, that you've known something all along, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. If you look within and you don't see a meat suit. You don't see that. You look within and you see a divine being who's somewhat trapped in an illusion, as it were. What are you, if not for all these external things? What are you? Who are you? And it again, it's not for, you know. Watch some of the videos. You know, very easy to find. All to Love, MJ Robertson on YouTube. Watch some of them. See if you resonate, you know. But I'm here to tell you that, you know, and I'll leave it with this, okay? I am a recovered alcoholic, okay? Alcohol, I dabbled in drugs, but, you know, booze was definitely my thing. And I went through that 12-step process. I've been sober since 2001. I relapsed in 2006 and got sober again. And throughout that process, the 12 steps, through that step work, you know, there's, you know, where you have to really own your crap. You know, you really have to own it. And a lot of the things that I did, the deepest, darkest, you know, I would try to express to my sponsors or mentors, or, you know, and there was always a sense or a feeling that the response I received from, and very caring people, these people had my best interest at heart, but they were speaking to me from their own experience, you know, their own level of understanding. Well, Scott, you just got to get over it. You just got to let it go. You just got to release it. You just got to move on. You know, and I could never seem to incorporate that. Let go. How do you let go of that? You know, how do you know, there's certain things that just seem so oppressive. And here I come to this process with MJ Robertson, through the course of incorporating the steps for lack of a better word, the steps or the suggestions that she makes in her book. And instead of releasing, letting go, move on, get over it, her suggestion, and this was profound, instead of, all these other, as well-meaning as these folks were, that never helped me to move on. Just let it go. Forget about it. In the book, MJ describes sitting with it, sitting with your density, sitting with it. And that can be a very painful process, depending on the things that we've experienced. And I suppose on some level, I've experienced more than others and less than some. Some pretty dark stuff, And the idea of sitting with it, are you kidding me? You kidding me? It was painful the first time. I don't want to sit through that crap again. But what happens, I at least in my own experience, sitting with it, allowing all the feelings that I had, guilt, shame, remorse, anger, fear. Fear's a big one, guys. Fear of lack, fear of non-acceptance, fear of heaven and hell, fear of not receiving love, or being wanted and needed, or wow, it was profound. And experiencing that stuff, and guys, come on, suck it up, buttercup, you just broke your hand, breathe, put some duct tape on it. No, sit with your shit, feel it, experience the pain, and I had an experience where one experience of many, where I ended up in the fetal position on my living room floor, crying like a baby, and the release, the relief, the processing, the understanding, the clarity that I received from that process. It wasn't letting it go, forgetting about it, distracting myself. It was sitting with it and experiencing all the pain and understanding where that pain came from. So with that, if you're at that place in your life where you're questioning and you're going, what the is this all for? Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I doing this? Why am I whatever it is for you, I would highly recommend, at the very least, check out some of her videos. MJ Robertson, All to Love on YouTube. It's very easy to find. And if you're guided, if that resonates with you, she's very easy to contact, alltolove.com, and you can schedule a perspective call to see if that's something that you and or she, and I'll be honest with you guys, one, it's not for everybody, and two, if she feels that the connect, she'll tell you politely, but she'll tell you, look, maybe you should, try X, Y, and Z first, or maybe this connection isn't quite right. So don't be offended. Maybe you're just not in alignment with this particular process. Don't give up. Don't give up. But there have been, she will set boundaries, so be prepared for that. But the process that I had moving through this book has been profound. Not easy, very difficult at times, very difficult, very emotional, but I would highly, highly recommend it. And in closing, what was that moment of clarity that I had about my existence and what is my purpose? My purpose is love. And within my understanding and within my means and resources and within my understanding of what that means, and to love myself. And there's no greater way to love self than becoming aware. Know thyself. Know thyself. And once you know yourself, the idea of loving others, at least for me, becomes a lot easier, a lot clearer. Maybe not easy, because loving is not an easy path. To love unconditionally, truly. But again, MJ Robertson, alltolove.com. You can go on YouTube, MJ Robertson, All to Love. It'll bring up a string of videos. I strongly recommend checking it out. Check out the book. Check out the Audible. The Audible is very inexpensive. I think it was $7 American. Check it out. Give it a shot. And I pray a peace that surpasses all understanding, a clarity that you've never had about your own self-awareness, and that we are way more than what we perceive ourselves to be. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Hang loose. Take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself. You have my permission. Give your permission yourself to treat yourself well. And have a wonderful day. Sun's coming up. There's a couple of turkeys right over there. They're all over the place here, man. They're and there's some adults, and there's some, I don't know what they call a baby turkey, a chick. But yeah, they're all over the place. Anyway, love you guys. And MJ Robertson, All to Love TV. Check it out. You are worth it. You are worth it. I love you. I do. You are me. I am you. I'm out.